This week we look at our Enneagram Type 4, the Individualist and Romantic. And I sit down with our resident expert, Dr. Teo, to learn more. Let's listen in to our interview.
Welcome, everyone. We are back again for another interview with our expert, Dr. Teo. Thank you, Dr. Teo, for joining us.
You're very much welcome. I really enjoy sharing time with you, discussing these wonderful types as far as Enneagram is concerned. And I'm happy to be here once more.
Thank you. We've been on a journey so far. We have looked at the type 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, and today we're looking at type 4, guys, the individualist. So we want to spend some time talking with Dr. Teo. Dr. Teo, tell us, what can you tell us about this type, the type 4?
You know what, my son is type 4, so I had the opportunity actually to experience relating with someone from this particular type. Very sensitive, very introspective, expressive, and also dramatic, you know. They could be self-absorbed and temperamental, but their gift actually in, you want to see a person who really appreciate things through their eyes. Their level of appreciation is quite deep. I really enjoyed my son because to me, I understand much, and at the same time, it's just a lot of mystery that keeps me okay. I wonder what's really going on, kind of thing. So
sounds like they're probably the most complex to understand.
Well, type 4, they're called individualistic for a reason. They believe that they are unique, that they're different.
They're not.
If a type 4 would be listening to this, then there would be some type 4 who would say, "What? I have someone who's quite similar with me in terms of feeling that we are unique." It's crazy because type 4. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and share with you a particular wound that a type 4 has experienced, and that's somehow influencing how they see their world.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question for you. But go ahead, Doc. Go ahead and let us know. Tell us a little bit more about this wound.
Sure, because that will help us understand how they see the world. Okay, a type 4 has this great confidence as far as understanding who they are and their own uniqueness. They are wounded in terms of their confidence in others' ability to see who they are. So to them, they tend to use all the needed energy and extra, dramatic expressions to make sure they are not actually being dramatic because they need attention. No. Sometimes they express more than other types because, again, of the belief that I'm not quite sure you would actually understand me as a person. I'm not quite sure if you are seeing me as an individual. So although their confidence in understanding and seeing who they are as individuals is much, much higher, compared to the rest, yet they are always in doubt if you actually listening, if you're actually seeing, if you're actually recognizing the uniqueness of their personhood. And to them, the uniqueness is very important because it's a good source of their identity. The more unique they are, and the more they recognize for their uniqueness, it's actually a good feeling of, okay, now my identity is finally taking form.
Okay. So let me ask you a question there. So how do they compensate for this understanding? So what, when we look at the different types, obviously, for instance, type 8 not wanting to be vulnerable. And so they compensate by challenging or putting up this shell, this exterior. We see different for the type 2s feeling worth or value, they put on this shell of giving and helping. So for the type 4, how do they compensate this wound that they're feeling of not being, that others don't understand them?
Well, they're making statements. If they're an artist, they want to make sure that their signature, their brand, that's uniquely theirs, is out there. If they're an engineer, you can see it in the way they work. Now, if they don't have a brand yet, they tend to, and they are actually some. If you are being mistyped as 1 and yet you are a 4, it's because you tend to reach a certain level of perfection. But the perfection is unlike 1. 1 is just quite committed to doing what is right. But for 4, they want to do things in a perfect way because they don't actually trust that you can appreciate what they're doing.
Wow.
if it's just a mediocre.
Wow.
So they tend to do something extra.
There's a drive for excellence. There's a drive for excellence so that they can be recognized for their uniqueness then.
Yes. It's, and sometimes they don't know, especially if they don't know their own uniqueness at that moment. Maybe achieving a certain level that would make their personhood quite special. When I say special, it's different from others.
Okay.
So
let me. Oh, go ahead.
A type 2, for example, the way they generate information is through the eyes of others. So they do something good, something virtuous, and then they see in the eyes of the other person a smile or an appreciation. That's good enough for them to actually use that for to build their need of having good identity and integrity. But for a 4, this is very unique with 4. They would like to use other people's eyes to see how beautiful the world is. And then they have this a very unique way of seeing things because they are always searching what is beautiful, what is extraordinary, and then they can see that. But the next question is, how come you have it and I don't have it? After discovering the wonderful things about that individual, which they really like, and they help other people see that. I mean, that's a gift. And then in their own time, sometimes they process things and say, he's more gifted, or he's more unique than I am. He's more special than I am. How come I don't have that?
Mercy. That's got to be a struggle. So then, if you are in a relationship or you're relating to a 4, so what can we do to understand and work on their better self, their best self? What can we do to help them be a better, more healthier 4?
Sure. Well, it's very important to understand that 4 tend to go inside, the introspect, and there is a healthy introspection and there is unhealthy introspection. When 4 is experiencing an unhealthy introspection, you will see them sometimes playing victim because they see it's very easy for them to also see their own faults and their own, just like a type 1, but as a victim sometimes, and that is very unhealthy in a relationship. So if you are relating with someone, I think you respect the space that they need, because a 4 has to express what they are experiencing inside. Otherwise, they would just withdraw and sometimes experience depression. So give them the space that they need to express that, but don't just respond to in a way where you are getting the virus as well. They just need it. Just they need to express. Being sometimes being too expressive. There are 4 that are not dramatic, because they were sometimes trained also to keep things to themselves. Sometimes they are more of a withdrawer than dramatic in their expression. But don't fool yourself that you aren't at the 4 if you don't see yourself actually doing that. Inside your interpersonal dynamics, I want you to examine and see if you are seeing yourself having this pain of the pain of significance as far as 4 is concerned. By the way, 4 is a brother or a sister of 9 and 5. These 3, their core question is, do I matter? Do I contribute that would change the world? Am I worthy to be considered? For a 4, they already have the answer. Of course, I'm worthy to be considered. But the next question is, how come they don't consider me? Maybe something is something wrong with me, or something is wrong the way they see me. Maybe they are not actually. Maybe they're not actually seeing what is in me.
So validation is important for validating their now under stress, looking at integration, disintegration. What happens to the 4 under these two things when they're under stress or when they're feeling more secure about who they are?
Yeah. Well, 4, the 2 numbers, okay, they disintegrate, they go to type 2. They integrate, they go to type 1, okay? So when they disintegrate, they're more like type 2 in terms of they tend to please others. They tend to actually get a little bit scattered, like a type 2 has his own way of scattering himself and losing certain boundaries. But when they integrate, that is when they try to achieve things the way a 1 would achieve things. The perfectionism of a 1. There is a healthy way of achieving things, and I think they got that from 1. The product, for example, of an artist who is a type 4, Michelangelo, for example. When they deliver things, Chopin in area of music. When they deliver things, it has to be not just perfect, but something that would stand out. And the dedication and the ethics of a type 1, you can see that in type 4 as well. Achieving that. But they're not doing it because of their commitment to the standards. 4 actually can forget about standards, but they would like to achieve certain excellence and perfection because it is a way of telling who they are. It's more of their relationship to their personhood than their relationship to the standard.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you for these beautiful nuggets for type 4. I'm sure that they will benefit from learning a little bit more about their uniqueness, who they are, and the value that they bring to the world in being able to identify gifts in other people and allowing us to be able to celebrate that. So thank you. We'll connect again next time as we look at the type 5, which I know you can resonate with.
Sure.
So we'll connect again next time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you too for having me.